The trial for the man accused of trying to assassinate then presidential candidate Trump in September of 2024 has started. And that trial is described that it's going to be kind of a circus because this man, Ryan Ruth, is representing himself.
Yeah. When this first happened, I thought for sure Trump is going to pursue the death penalty.
Yes.
I just thought someone's trying to assassinate him. That would not surprise me in the least, both because of, he can be vindictive, but also because how pro-death penalty he has been on the federal level. And they're not pursuing it, which I thought was a little bit surprising. I think potentially the reason could be, number one, this guy has, I think, pretty clear psychiatric symptoms. The quotes, and maybe you'll run through a couple of them, are puzzling.
Yeah.
He's almost suggested that he wants the death penalty, which isn't to say, obviously I wrote a book about someone who pursued the death penalty and was competent. But yeah, he's suggesting that he is not, mentally competent. But the other thing is that his crime, attempted assassination, I think would not fit into the federal criteria for what would make someone in their crime eligible for the death penalty. So maybe they just understood it would be too much of an uphill battle to pursue it. But what they're pursuing is life.
Yeah, and I think he's accused of 5 federal crimes. One is attempted assassination of a major presidential candidate, possessing a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence, and assaulting a federal officer, in addition to 2 federal firearm charges. And if people don't remember, effectively what he is accused of doing is lurking outside the fence of the Trump International Golf Club, West Palm Beach, with a long rifle while then President and candidate for President Trump was playing golf on the 5th hole of that course, which is apparently a long par 3, bunkers on the left and the right. Hogback Green is how it's described on the website of West Palm Beach International Golf Club. And so he was accosted, he was approached by Secret Service at that point, and then arrested and taken into custody. So jury selection started Monday. So the things that, Ruth has said is that he kind of wants to try to resolve the matter by a, quote, beatdown session with Trump. I'm not sure what that means exactly. He also asked to compete for his life in a round of golf with the president. And he proposed being part of a prisoner swap instead of going to trial. So it is, he's representing himself. And these are very interesting cases, I think, when it's effectively like a political show trial for him, if that is how it ends up happening, where he's going to be able to talk about the things he wants to talk about as he's representing himself in the court of law. So I'm just interested in what kind of happens next.
I think he also said that if he lost that game of golf that he wants to play, he wants to play against Trump, that then Trump could execute him. This guy has I think that there are probably people who are reading the New York Post article and, seeing all these wild quotes from him, and circus, the word you used, is I think the perfect descriptor of what this is going to be. But this guy, I think, is clearly mentally ill. And I'm sure that they're going to be using those medical diagnoses. And the other thing is, how in the world was this guy able to get so close?
Especially after there was another attempted assassination on the president's life at that point too. So it is kind of nuts.
It's puzzling. And I'm interested to know what the sort of, I haven't seen any Secret Service folks coming out, anonymously even, but I'd be interested to know, has Trump put his own people on the Secret Service? Why have they been so ineffective? The first one maybe is questionable. I don't know. I know that there was big debate around, whether they, whether there was misconduct or whether they didn't do their job. But on this one, it was this guy had a clear shot. He was so close to him. It's puzzling that they weren't, didn't see him and stop him before then. Not to mention he had a huge rifle with him.
That's right. And according to prosecutors, he was also trying to obtain allegedly anti-aircraft weaponry as well. He had sort of tracked where the candidate Trump was trying to go over the course of those days. So it seems like he was pretty motivated and took a lot of actions towards it. And it wasn't until just kind of not even a routine sweep, but not a routine sweep prior to the president's round, but like actually during its round that he was found. And he was camped out there for hours and hours beforehand.
Unreal. And didn't he show the seller like a picture of Trump's airplane or something?
Yes, that's right. That's
And
exactly.
I wonder if the seller will be held accountable in any way.
Oh, sure.
I mean, maybe not everyone knows what Air Force One looks like, but like that seems like a problem to not be like, hey, someone should check up on this guy.
Well, it wasn't even Air Force One at that point. It would be the Trump plane, the one that's like,
so even more
with
obvious.
Trump on it. Yeah.
Gold encrusted.
Yeah.
No mistaking what that thing looks like.
So we'll keep an eye on that as it goes along and see if, in fact, it is quite the circus that people are expecting it to be. But I mean, that was an insane time, and I was like, oh, I couldn't remember the actual date of when it happened, and that was just a year ago. Like, it's so much has happened in the year that has transpired between then and now that it's just sort of head spinning. It feels like it was like 3 or 4 years ago, frankly.